Hello, dear students. As you know, in the last lecture, we have already completed chapter number 2. That was acid, base, and salt. That chapter we already completed in the last lecture. Now, actually, we want to cover third chapter first in chemistry. As you all know, we have covered two chapters in physics, that is chapter number 10 and 11 we completed. We completed two chapters in biology, 6 and 7, as you all know. In chemistry we completed two chapters. In the last lecture was the end lecture of chapter number 2, that was acid, base and salt. So we completed chapter number 1 and 2, understand, in last lecture. Today we actually want to start another chapter in chemistry, understand, that is chapter number 3, which we are starting today, understand, chapter number 3 in chemistry which we are starting. And ultimately, name of the chapter itself is not new for you. You all are knowing much about this chapter. We will just discuss some of the things which you, or some of the facts which you know in detail. So name of the chapter itself gives you an idea that what you are going to discuss in these chapters. Name of the chapter itself gives you an idea, and today we are attending lecture number 1 in that, okay? And here in lecture number 1, that is chapter number 3, metals and non-metals, which we are going to discuss. Understand, chapter number 3, lecture number 1 today, metals and non-metals, which we are going to discuss today. As far as the chapter is concerned regarding metals and non-metals, you can divide this chapter for the simplicity of study into 3 parts. In the first, this chapter needs to be tri-section. In the first section, you will study about physical properties of metals and non-metals, which you might have discussed and understood in detail in previous standard also. Some of the physical properties of metals and non-metals, that can be considered the first section, understand, of this chapter. If you think of the second part of this chapter, the second section, we will discuss about chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So the second section, second part of this chapter can be a general discussion about chemical properties of metals, non-metals, and there will be some discussion about or ionic compounds and covalent compound also. So that's the second part of this chapter. And in the third part of this chapter, we will discuss in detail about metallurgy. Metallurgy means that actually the title in the chapter is Occurrence and Extraction of Metals. So in the third half, you will discuss about how metals are available, which metals are available in free state, which are available in compound state, how metal are extracted, how metals are purified, and then their uses, and one topic about corrosion of metal. Understand? So, as far as this particular chapter is concerned, I told you we will divide into three sections. First section, that is general discussion about properties of metals and non-metals. Understand, my dear student, the topic is so simpler. When you discuss about physical properties of metals and non-metal, you might be knowing a lot about that because you already studied metals and non-metals in previous standards also. And we will start speaking by just comparing metals and non-metal in various aspects of their physical properties. When I speak, it has been already given in textbook as far as the material which will be provided to you, but at the same time, you are seated with notebook, so you can note down also. Suppose we start speaking some of the physical properties of metals and non-metal. So you might be knowing that metals are, you have studied in primary standard or previous earlier standard also, that metals are generally available in solid form. You all know that. And if I mention some of the exception here, like mercury, which is available in liquid state at normal room temperature, so you all have the knowledge of that. No need to even note down, because in earlier standard you studied that mercury exists the only non-metal in liquid form at normal room temperature. But metals are mostly available in solid form. Then if you talk of non-metal, the non-metal are already available in all form. They are available in solid form, they are available in liquid form and gaseous form also. So non-metal are available in all formats. To mention some solid non-metal, you all have studied carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, solid non-metals. Understand, at the same time, liquid non-metal, the bromine, you know, that's the liquid non-metal, exists in liquid state at normal room temperature. Who don't know the gaseous form of non-metal? Understand, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, helium, all gaseous gas are actually non-metal in gaseous form. So non-metals are existing and available in nature in all three format, all three form, that is solid, liquid and gas. They are available in all three forms in nature, but metal available only in solid state. Exception is mercury. Here in non-metal you should remember that name, bromine is the only non-metal available in liquid state at normal room temperature. at the same time, if we discuss the second chemical physical property of metal, you might be knowing one very important thing, that you must be having in the knowledge of this, that metals have shining surface, as you must be knowing. To speak in some other word, you can say that metal has lustrous surface, means shining surface. Understand? But I must mention one thing, that metal have shining or lustrous surface when they are in pure form. So when you write this physical property, you should be in the knowledge that metal are possessing shining or lustrous surface when they are in pure state. Do non-metal have lustrous or shining surface? Not at all. Non-metal possess dull surface. But there is also one exception. If you know, you studied in primary that iodine, and in previous standard, iodine is the only non-metal which has some lustrous surface. That can be asked in one line, and you should note it down also. Iodine is the only non-metal which has shining or lustrous surface. So that becomes the second chemical property. Understand? Third, if I mention, the metals are obviously, metals are, if I write one word, you might be knowing the meaning of that word. Metals are, if I write this word, sonorous. Okay? That means you might be knowing that when metals are struck, they produce ringing sound. Understand? They produce ringing sound when struck. Means metals are sonorous. Non-metal do not produce ringing sound when they are struck. So that's third property. Generally, metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. Though in the conduction of heat and electricity, there are variations among the metals. You can't say that all metals have equal conduction for heat and electricity, because different metal have different reactivity and different properties. So you can't say that all metal possess equal conduction. Understand? It happens that some metal conduct heat and electricity faster than other. Take an example, silver and copper. They are good conductor of even heat and electricity. So compared to that, some of the metal like mercury and lithium are bad conductor of heat and electricity also. Understand? So it happens. Generally when you speak that metals are good conductor of heat and electricity, that confines a general property standing for metal. But at the same time, you should mind one thing, that all metal do not have equal conduction of heat and electricity. About electricity, different metal possess different conduction capacity. Copper is one of the best conductor. Understand? So compared to copper, other metal are not so good are conductor, but not so good conductor of electricity. Understand? That you should mind. Okay. Now, if you think of non-metals, the most of the non-metals are bad conductor of electricity. Take an example, even carbon. So carbon is generally, when you speak, understand, it is a bad conductor of electricity, but in different allotropic form possess different conduction of electricity. You must be knowing the formats of carbon, allotropes of carbon, that is diamond, graphite, fullerenes. So diamond, which is actually one of the allotrope of carbon, is a bad conductor of electricity. But at the same time, graphite, understand, is a good conductor of electricity, and even fullerenes, which is a promising future for the development of nanotechnology, understand, are a good conductor of electricity, because by utilizing these fullerenes, we are going to produce nanomaterial of such composition that it can conduct electricity 1,000 times more than copper. So they are good conductor of electricity. So even though all allotropes are made up of carbon, but they possess different conduction of electricity. Understand, at the same time, if you discuss that, if I speak one word, uh, uh, take an example, if I speak metals are hard, obviously metals are hard, you all know that, understand. But at the same time, when you speak that metals are hard, so some metal are softer also. Suppose take an example, some of the metal I mentioned, tin, even aluminium are softer metal. Understand, they are not hard metals. How can you experience this? That aluminium, tin, so you have tin vessels at your home. If you just try to press it with great force, you are able to change its shape. Similarly, the aluminium is also a softer metal, and you all know that aluminium is utilized for packaging tablets. Understand? So that packing of the tablet can be easily bent by you. Similarly, aluminium is utilized, understand, as for packing food material also. So aluminium, tin are no doubt softer metal, but even aluminium and aluminium, tin are softer metals compared to the other hard metal. But at the same time, there are some metals like sodium, lithium, potassium. They are such a soft metal. Can you imagine that you can cut sodium, lithium, potassium are such soft metal that you can cut them with knife also. So when I am speaking that metals are, at the same time we don't speak all metal are hard. We are speaking the property in such a manner that metals are generally hard. That means there are some exception also. Otherwise, iron is a hard material. Understand, titanium is a hard metal. Understood. But at the same time, some of the soft metal, tin, aluminium, I spoke the name of lithium, sodium, potassium later, because that might not be available at home, but tin, aluminium are at your home. And you must have the packaging of the tablets, so you are able to touch and feel that they are soft metal, aluminium and tin. Some of the metals, generally speaking, metals have a high melting point. You might be knowing it, that metal does not melt easily, and melting point of some of the metal ranges in the range of 1,000 degrees, sometime more than that. Even melting point of iron is more than 2,000 degrees Celsius. So it happens that metals have generally high melting point. I am speaking this statement again. Metals have generally high melting point. Doesn't mean that generally all metal, most of the metal possess high melting point, but at the same time there are also some metals which has very low melting point. Some of the metals, mostly though we know that metals are generally have got high melting point, and it melts only when high amount of heat is supplied. They melt at high temperature only. Understand? It is not possible to melt them at low temperature like other non-metal. Non-metal can melt at low temperature. but you require a high amount of heat energy to be supplied to metals. Understand? To melt them. It's not easy to melt them. But as I told you, it's general, but there are some exception definitely. Some of the name of the metal, if I speak, like gallium, cesium. Gallium, cesium are such a, no doubt you never come across this metal practically, understand? But for the knowledge, some of the metal like gallium, cesium, etc. have got such low melting point, then even if they are kept on your palm, metals like gallium, cesium, then they will melt by the heat of your palm even at normal ordinary room temperature. Understand? So this happens when you speak any statement regarding metal or non-metal, you have to speak in general way. Then when you speak that non-metal, the non-metal are generally are non-lustrous, do not have shining, but some exception are there. Iodine has luster. Understand? So, this is something about some of the physical properties of metals and non-metal. One more thing you must be knowing in primary standard also, you must have studied in previous standard also, that metals are malleable and ductile, non-metals are not. Malleability is one of the special property of metals, that metals can be, understand, pressurized, and metals can be tipped into sheets. That is possible. That is not possible in case of non-metal. Similarly, metals can also be turned to wires. You are able to turn, you are able to drawn metal into wires. It can be easily drawn. Understand? You might be knowing. In that case also, I mentioned one thing regarding metals and non-metals, that there is some variations always exist regarding malleability and ductility of various metal. It is not possible that all metals are equally ductile and equally malleable. There is variation also. Understand? Ductility of some metal is very high, so some metal is low. Understand? Take an example. Iron is also ductile. Iron wires can be made, but iron wires are not made more than thinner at some extent, like gold. Gold is highly, gold possesses high ductility. Understand? Just if you take 1 gram of gold, you are able to convert it into a 2 kilometer long wire. Understand? That means it is rich in ductility. All metals do not possess same ductility and same malleability. But to speak in general, you can say that metals are generally malleable as well as ductile, and non-metals are non-malleable and non-ductile, because wires cannot be made from non-metals, not wire cannot be made, and they can be drawn into thin sheets also. And that's why some of the properties of metal like malleability, ductility, good conduction of heat and electricity only ensures large use of metals. Understand? Non-metal are also utilized practically in daily life, right? But metals are generally utilized more than non-metals in our life. Understand? Because they possess some of the useful properties which we expect. Understand? So this is discussion about some general physical properties of metals. Okay? And okay, I think most of the property, conduction of heat, conduction of electricity, that also we discussed, and you all know that. Understand? Right? So this is one general discussion about metals and non-metals. And you might be knowing, understand, these are whatever general properties of metals and non-metals we just discussed now, you must be knowledge of most of the things. You must be knowledge of most of the properties also that I expect, understand. And now we just have discussed regarding physical properties of metals. Okay, before we end the lecture, let us have some different discussion regarding, because I have seen last year also in board exam, understand, lots of questions were asked from these physical properties, understand. Suppose take an example, just to mention you, name two soft metals. So when you are asked to name two soft metals, you have to mention any two name. So two metals, so I generally mention aluminium and tin, they are generally soft metal. But at the same time I also mentioned three names, that is sodium, lithium, potassium, understand, which can be even cut with knife, so you can be asked. Generally metals are good conductor of heat and electricity, but when you compare the conduction, which are the best conductor of heat and electricity, so silver, copper, that you can mention the name. At the same time mercury and lithium are not good conductor of heat. As far as you are asked which are the non-metals, understand, which are actually good conductor of electricity. The non-metal, graphite you can mention, fullerene you can mention, but the allotrope of carbon, diamond, that is bad conductor of heat, understand, and electricity at the same time. Mostly metals have got high melting point, that you all know. Understand, metals have got high melting point, but some of the metals we just mention the name and can be asked in one line, that is some of the metal like gallium and cesium has got such a low melting point that they start melting even on your palm at ordinary room temperature also. Mostly the non-metal are non-lustrous. They do not possess any shining surface at all, shiny polished surface at all. But it happens that some non-metal, some means one non-metal is an exception to this, that is iodine. Understand? Iodine already possesses luster. So even though it is a non-metal, it possesses luster, and at the same time we discussed that metals are generally malleable and ductile, but not all metals. There is also variation in ductility and malleability of metal. The most highly ductile metal is gold. So compared to gold, silver is little less ductile. So other metals are also available. No doubt possess ductility and can be higher, but you can't compare it with gold, because gold is the highest ductility and malleability. Understand? So this is some general properties of metal. Just have a textbook, or even in our material also I have we have prepared material in such a way that all textual inbuilt exercise and chapter and exercise are also mentioned in the material, understand, where they have asked such question: name metals which can be cut with knife, name the non-metal which is lustrous, name the non-metal which is good conductor of electricity, good conductor of heat. Understand one? There are so many questions. which are the best conductor of heat, so that is metals which are best conductor of heat, so that is silver and copper. Understood? That way chemical physical properties has been discussed, and from that lots of queries can also be asked. Uh, in our paper also last time we have asked like explain the meaning. I have asked such question in our last full portion test, that understand we have asked this such type of question. Just mind this, we have asked this, explain the meaning. We have asked this question last time, understand, explain the meaning of malleable. This was the question, malleable. That was first question in 2 marks I asked, and also explain the meaning of ductile. Last time when we were taking our PST as well as full portion test, understand, at that time we have asked in 2 mark such type of question. Now suppose you know the meaning of malleable and you know the meaning of ductile, but if you are asked in the form of definition, means in the form of term, explain meaning of malleable and ductile. So how will you explain the meaning of malleable? So malleability, any material can be called malleable when it can be drawn into sheets. You can note down any material, it can be metal, understand, non-metal are obviously non-malleable, you all know. Any metal, any metal word also it's okay. Any metal or any material which can be drawn into sheets, that is called malleable. And this particular property of that material is known as malleability. Most of metals are malleable. There is variation in the malleability of metal, that way you have to write ductile. So any material, how can you explain this? So any material which can be drawn into wires is called ductile. And this particular property of any material is called ductility. There is also variation in the ductility of various metals. Various metal possess different ductility because various metal have got different atomic structure and constituent structure of the atoms inside that, and because of that there is some variation in the ductility of metal. Which is the highest ductile metal known to mankind? To gold, because simply 1 gram of gold can be drawn into a wire in the range of length of 2 kilometer. Understand? So that was the question we have asked, right? So actually the discussion regarding physical properties of metals as well as non-metal is not a topic that you don't know anything about that. But at the same time, one thing has to be very clear, that when you prepare physical properties of metals and non-metal, you have to read textbook thoroughly. You have to read the material given to you up to date, so that if you read the material, each and every word given to you up to date, you will be able to understand. There is mentioned and highlighted each and everything which we just now discussed. So that way you have to read the material properly. Understand? And from textbook also you need to have a glimpse of that. No doubt we have prepared material thoroughly from textbook, and it includes all aspects of the textbook, but at the same time you also need to read textbook once, at the same time material also. Material is a point-wise presentation of subjection given in the textbook. Okay, so in today's lecture number 1, we do not want to start a new topic in the same lecture. So the new topic itself is a different topic, that is regarding chemical properties metals and non-metals. We do not want to mix that topic of chemical properties of metals and non-metals with this. Understand? So we will extend that topic regarding chemical properties of metals and non-metals in the next half, in the next lecture. Okay, so we today just started chapter number 1, that is metals and non-metal. Chapter is not as difficult as chapter number 2, where we discussed about acid, base and salt in detail. That chapter number 2, understand, has lots of chemical reaction, and all chemical properties of acid and base explained were also difficult and complicated. But in this chapter, this involves less chemical reaction, understand, and this chapter is not so hard as compared to chapter number 2. And one more thing, before we end this lecture, I should mention a little discussion about the previous chapter. In previous chapter, if you must have noted down, we discussed about pH scale, as you all know. And in that discussion of pH scale in the previous chapter, we have discussed short note of pH scale, importance of pH scale. At the same time, we also have given idea regarding some simple numerical of pH scale. Not more than that in that particular chapter. But at the same time, I promised that when we will meet offline in the live classroom, we will solve various types of numericals of pH scale. In chemistry, chapter number 1 does not include numericals, that is only balancing. In chapter number 2, the only numericals, though not mentioned in textbook, but we want to discuss in detail, understand, when we meet live in the classroom. Chapter number 3, which we have just started today, does not include any numerical at all. Neither numerical are also in chapter number 4 and chapter number 5, right? Numericals are present only in chapter number 2, that is acid, base and salt, and that's a lengthy chapter, understand, but this chapter is comparatively smaller, understand, and can be prepared at one sitting. So you should sit properly, think of the content which is given, explained to you in this chapter, and note down each and everything. Okay, so that way this chapter can be prepared very easily. Compared to this, chapter 4 and 5 are little lengthy and difficult. Understood? This chapter is not so difficult. Okay, so my dear student, today lecture number 1 for chapter number 3, that is metals and non-metals. We completed our discussion about physical properties of acid base, or sorry, of metals and non-metals. We will start and continue our discussion regarding chemical properties of metals and non-metal in the next lecture of this particular chapter. Okay, thank you very much for attending this lecture from Bharat sir.